Hello, my name's Edward Mofield, Mofo Bassin. Today we're going to talk about taking this anchor light right here and we're going to disassemble it, and we're going to take it and we're going to stick it on a Talon for your transom light. So stick around and we'll get right into it. Okay, first thing is we're going to have to disassemble this. So you're going to have a rivet right here, and you can actually take this out. You're going to take an 1/8 inch rivet, drill that rivet out, and you're going to have a screw down here, which I've already removed, and you're going to pop this rubber piece out, and it's a little challenging, so you're going to have to use a pair of pliers. Once you get that out, you're going to have a couple of round ends like this right here, and you can just clip them off, discard. You don't need them anymore. And then you can just basically pull this loose out of the tube, and you're basically going to have the transom light with the wires. So I've kind of went ahead and kind of jumped ahead here a little bit, and you got 2 screws on your cap here on your Talon, and I've already removed them, so you want to be easy. Don't hurt those wires in there on your work light. And then if you've got your kickstands for your tilt bracket, you're going to have to remove them as well. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make a little groove right there. As you can see, I've already grooved that out. And you can do that with a Dremel, oscillating tool, whatever. So this way your night light, or your transom light, I should say, is going to go right into that groove and set down like that to be mounted later. And we're going to run these wires all the way down to this channel and behind the trim here, and we're going to take the cover off. I really don't want wires hanging out, and we're going to run them down this channel here and run them into the boat. Okay, now that we got all the wire connected to the anchor light, the transom light, and these wires were a little short, so I actually just got some more 18 gauge wire, soldered them together, and I actually used shrink tubing on this to actually help hide it in the channel. Of course, remove the cover from the Talon to put those wires in behind there to hide it. And that 18 gauge with the shrink tubing on there is small enough to actually hide in this channel and not interfere with that cover. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually run this wire in here into the channel and get it close to where it needs to be. And then this right here is just a divider molding, FRP. You can get it at your local big stores, Home Depot, Lowe's. And you might have to trim the edges off just a little bit down, but it's basically the same width as the channel trim that comes with the Talons. We're basically just going to slide this right in here like this right here. And all this is doing is just hiding that channel down where that wire is going to be, because we don't have lockouts. We don't have any kind of lockout there. And it's going to be a little tough to get in. Try not to mess up the wires in the Talon, of course. Once we get that down to the desired height, and of course this right here is actually white. You can get it in different colors. I just took some black paint, matte paint, and painted it, so and that way it actually hides all this here. So now we can put our Talon panel back on. Try to keep all the screws in there without them falling out. Basically, one other thing to watch for is to make sure that you're not going to pinch your wire. You can actually slip it in behind. There's two bolts that are actually holding your winch on. You can actually slip it back in that channel and it will hold it back in there out of the way. You can do that. Now we make sure that clear the screws that mount inside the Talon there. Actually screw them in first just to make sure that you're not going to hit your wire. And once you feel them grab just barely a little bit, you know that you've actually cleared your wiring. And as far as the anchor transom light, this is just something I got off of Amazon. You can get one at Academy, any marina. This is just an idea that I actually came up with after searching for a Minn Kota Talon light, which I know there's a couple manufacturers that make them. They were a little pricey, but the biggest thing was they were out of stock. So this is something I come up with to keep me from having to dig my anchor light out every time before we blast off on a tournament or just on a casual day of fishing. As you can see, this right here is still movable, so we can still got room to play with it. Slide your trim pieces back in there. Get your kickstand anchor back in there. Make sure it's clear of the wire. Should be. Tighten it down just a little. Look at curry there. Basically get that in there temporarily just for now. So though we have enough distance to actually get our kickstand in there as well. Make sure this in there as well first. Set it in place. on this here, you want to make sure that you actually leave the wire hanging out. Do not slide this in there or the actual piece of wire, because you want to make sure that you have movement for your anchor to do it like this right here. So you want to make sure that you actually got your slack in there. For it to move. You need it to. And of course, I drilled a hole to the back of the anchor here, or the kickstand, 1/8 inch, just for a stainless steel screw to go in there to actually keep this light actually mounted onto the kickstand there, so it doesn't go anywhere. So now we'll run the wire into the bolt, get it hooked up to the actual existing anchor light on the transom, and okay, now that we got the wire and actually run into the back of the boat, we're going to actually hook it up to the transom light. So we've got actual red and black wire coming from the light here that's actually mounted on the Talon, and the red wire is hot, black wire is ground. And then you're going to have your actual plug that you're actually taking out. You've got a white and a black. The black wire is still your ground, but the white wire is your hot. So we're actually going to cut those loose and connect those in. And I really don't like to have 2 or 3 wires, but this right here is a factory plug. We are going to keep that plug. So we're basically going to cut about midway here. Strip the wires back. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the plug here and we're going to put the black to black together. The connector on it. Grab it down tight. Make sure it's secure. Take the red wire, twist it to the white wire, another connector on there, crank it down tight, make sure it's secure. And we're going to make sure the white wire is actually going into the other white wire originally on the plug. Almost forgot. Piece of shrink tubing, just to make sure you keep the water out. I took it a little longer, didn't I? And of course you could use shrink connectors if you've got some. Make sure it's secure. Again, shrink tubing. Down, make sure she's secure as well. And we slip over that shrink tubing. And this right here is a 1/4 inch shrink tubing. It's a little bit of a pain to get your wires through sometimes. You just gotta basically just twist it and work with it. Eventually you'll get it over there. You don't necessarily have to use it. You can use black tape if you like. Okay. Now we're going to open the lid here. Actually set it down in there. Get our plug hooked up here. That is good to go. Sorry about that, the battery died. So again, we're basically just going to leave this in here just loose for right now. And we got our power turned on, so we're actually going to check out our light to make sure it actually works. And voila! We have a navigation light actually mounted on the Talon on the kickstand, so therefore there's no more use of me actually having to pull this out of a rod locker and fight forward around my tackle. Just something I wanted to experiment with. I think it's kind of neat. If you have any questions, leave in the comments down below, and see you on the water. Thanks for watching.